Hello and welcome to Climbing Daily and my lockdown house. Today's show was shot a long time before the coronavirus situation. I spent time at the Studio Blockmasters comp with La Sportiva athlete Jacopo Larcher. We were chatting about the release of a new bouldering shoe called The Theory. Now I know you guys are following all advice, but for the time being, please avoid outside climbing and indoor climbing until things get better for the world. Hello and welcome to the Climbing Daily Friday Gear Show. Now, when La Sportiva release a new climbing shoe, it is a big deal because those guys are right at the forefront of innovation and design. And this man is Jacopo Larcher, who is one of the guys who helped design it, as well as being a pro athlete. So, Jacopo, how much input did you have on this new shoe, The Theory?
I just helped the R&D department. They did the whole job. So basically Pietro and Luca were behind this shoe, and then they had some help from different athletes. And we were really lucky. We got to test the shoe, give some feedbacks, and it was really nice for us.
Now, we should explain, we're at the Studio Blockmasters competition, and downstairs, where the main La Sportiva stand is unbelievably hectic and you can't hear anything. So we've stolen the table, literally. We've come upstairs to chat to you in a bit of peace and quiet. So let's start off with the basics. Who is this shoe, The Theory, designed for?
I think the main focus of this shoe is like on the indoor climbing. Basically, they started to look at route setting, the evolution of route setting at comps. From that, they started to develop a shoe which will suit that style. So they wanted to do something mainly for bouldering, for indoor bouldering and comps. It's not the only target of the shoe, but that's the main focus. So they wanted to do something really soft, reactive. I think it's pretty cool that they always look at the evolution of climbing and then they develop something for that.
So can I talk to you about the features of the shoe? Vibram XS Grip 2 rubber on the bottom. Why did La Sportiva sort of decide to go for that rubber?
I think they just wanted to go for the softest rubber, the one with more grip, as they wanted to do a really soft shoe. The main goal was to make something which is really good for smearing on big volumes. As nowadays, if you look downstairs, most of the footholds are really big and you have to smear. You need a lot of sensibility, and that's why they decided to use this rubber.
Well, sticking with the rubber, I know there's something super interesting about the thickness of it, which it changes, right, throughout the sole.
Yeah, that's really cool. On the sole, so on this part, it has a different thickness. So the rubber is thicker on the top where you go to edge. It helps you edging on really small footholds. On this part, the rubber gets thinner. So it's easier for the climber, grab with the toes the holes, so you can do more with your feet. And also there is a new technology, it's called the D technology. So it's not a no-edge shoe. On the top you have an edge, but then if you look here and here, you see that the sole just goes around with a...
Yeah, it sort of folds onto the top of the shoe, doesn't it? So whereas you've got an edge down at the toes, when you come down to the midsole section, it's more rolly.
Exactly, and that's why. Because a lot of time, especially bouldering inside, you toe hook on a big volume, and then you roll or you move your foot, and so that, it's easier to roll behind an edge.
Something I've noticed is just the sheer amount of rubber on this shoe. It's covered in it. The only bit which isn't rubber is the little sort of breathable bit on the front of the foot. Why was that made a decision? Instead of keeping the midsole clear of rubber, full of rubber but still flexy?
That's the Petrie System. Most of the La Sportiva shoes have it. And it seems like there is a lot of rubber, but it's really thin.
I love it. I love it because whenever I do toe hook, I don't want to be accurate. I just want to stick it in.
Exactly. So there is a big surface with rubber on the top of the shoe. It's basically to make toe hooking easier. Yeah, it's really thin, so you have a lot of sensibility when you toe hook, and also new heel. It has a low volume, so it's narrow. And it's really good for like hooking on small edges too.
I love the simplicity of it because I find there's this trend at the moment where there's lots of sort of 3D bits added to heels, and in reality all you really want to do is just sort of roll on it and up you go, and the simplicity of that is refreshing, I think.
Yeah, it's something maybe looks simple but is really helpful for like edging on or like hooking on really small edges.
Where does it fit into the range?
In the stiffness range, I will say that the solution comp, so if we take these three shoes, which are probably the one more oriented to indoor climbing, the solution comp is probably the stiffest. It's still a really soft shoe. Then comes the Squama, and then the Theory. So the Theory is the softest, and the solution comp is the stiffest of these three.
So perhaps if you're purely a boulder, especially indoors, you aim for the Theory. Maybe if you're going to need a bit more of an edging shoe, although it has got those edging credentials, you go more towards the solution.
Yeah, exactly. I will say that. Maybe the solution comp is more oriented for lead climbing, for, it's a little bit better for edging, and the Theory is more for like bouldering and is a softer shoe. And not only for bouldering, like I just came back from a sport climbing trip in south of France, and I just climbed, like I had a lot of shoes with me, but I climbed the whole week just with that. For also like on vertical walls and caves. It's not the stiffest shoe, so if I want something really good for edging, I'll take something else. Also for the Olympics, they came up with the new Cobra 499.
That's the speed one.
Speed one. And so I think it's really nice to see that the company is really taking care of the climbers and of the climbers' needs.
Cool. Well, thank you for showing me that. Absolutely fascinating. And I love hearing this stuff from an athlete rather than sort of the brand sometimes, because the brand always give you loads of techie and you just tell me how it is for climbing. So that's brilliant. Guys, I'll stick links down below so you can find out more information of this. Jacopo, thank you so much, and best of luck with the upcoming outdoor and indoor and everything else seasons.
Thank you. Thank you.